30 days hath September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31, except for February, which has 28 days clear. I'm sure being in lockdown is wrinkling my forehead even more. It's all this bloody frowning I keep doing at what's happening. And would you too not frown? Look, it's my coronavirus leaflet behind me, sent by dear old Boris. Paper things don't cost much money, you would think, but that one cost 5.9 million to send out with his little letter. 5.9 million. Imagine all the PPE that could have bought. Imagine all the PPE that could have sent to care homes. Wow, amazing. Thank you, Duke of Westminster, and thank you, rich people everywhere, for digging deep into your pockets and donating a few million, tends to mostly be million, to the fight against coronavirus and to helping our NHS and all our frontline staff. A genuine thank you, okay? But, come on, couldn't you be a bit more generous? Yeah? Aren't those pockets just a little bit deeper? Yeah? Come on, let's see you really put your hands in those deep pockets, rich people. Yeah? After all, you're not just billionaires, you're multi-billionaires. You're not just trillionaires, you're multi-trillionaires. Some of you have wealth that would pretty much cover the entire value of a small country. Thanks for the donations. It's much appreciated. And as you now isolate in your mansions, your castles, as you send the butler out for food, as you send the maid to Sainsbury's, maybe to pick some more Bollinger. Yeah. Do you have to queue for Bolly, by the way? Is it a queuing thing for Bolly? I mean, is Harrods still open? I mean, can you just not get Bolly delivered like you could get milk delivered? Anyway, before I go off on one, right, thanks. I appreciate that you put in your hand in your pocket and pulling out some of your money. People are already asking, particularly Tories are asking, especially the ones who say that money doesn't grow on trees, we need to end lockdown and get back to work. Well, actually, I think money might grow on trees. Magic money trees that somehow the government has managed to find to support people, to support the NHS, to keep the system going through a pandemic. Do you know what? I think he's wrong. I think he's absolutely wrong. Money has been growing on trees for years, centuries, decades. It's just that those trees only ever fruit for the very, very few, the little 1% up there in their little tiny seed as an elite. Yeah, when those trees fruit, yeah, all of that fruit gets picked, perhaps even by workers flown into the fields from Europe because our crops are rotting in the fields. Well, with regards to their wealth, it gets picked and put in their hedge funds, in their offshore tax havens, and I don't know, what do? Do they sit on it? Do they bath in it? Do they make love to it? Do they masturbate to £50 notes? Is that what gets them off? Yeah. How many £50 notes? Oh, darling, oh, darling, oh, I've just surged over another £50 note and its associated friends. Yep. I don't know. Okay, what's going on that's pathetic? Well, finally, we are told that PPE is getting there. Yep. Let me just be honest with you for a moment. I had a lovely conversation with my son last night, okay? He is so busy working in ICU where he is, as are everybody. Their units are full. Yeah, he's so busy helping to try and save lives that he doesn't very often have time to do much else apart from kind of shop and sleep. By the way, he thinks the way that Morrison's are dealing with this, so here's a shout out for Morrison's from me on behalf of my son, who's an NHS ICU nurse. He thinks the way Morrison's are dealing with it is great. He kind of likes you, Morrison's, so, you know, you've got a Morrison's shopper there. Well done, Morrison's. But he was out yesterday, as he spoke to me, just taking some regular exercise. He was walking through, from what I remember, where he is, as a kind of fairly public area, sort of streets between terraced houses, a lot of which I'm sure were deserted. But he said he could see people gathering in social groups, little groupings of them, little sort of nubs of them here and there, yeah? No social distancing, all sitting down in the sunshine, all having a conversation, and we're supposed to be locked down. It's exercise only. So I said to him, do you reckon some of those are going to end up in your ICU? He very calmly said, yes. Okay. PPE, though, right? Let's just say it's being promised, but it's not being delivered. Okay? That's quite clear. Care home staff sent at the moment like lambs to the slaughter. No real effective PPE. People in care homes, well, they seem to be the place where the most sick, especially the oldest and the most vulnerable, are being left to die. And it really can't be very nice dying there, because all the kind of palliative care that might help you breathe those last few breaths, all the drugs that might sedate you, they can't be given there. So do understand that your relatives and your friends and your loved ones who either through sickness or age or some other reason are in one of these public open homes, yeah, are going to be dying in a great deal more pain and discomfort than maybe they would be if they could die in an NHS hospital and be provided palliative care. Think about that. I really do want you to think about that, because I want you to understand that it is cuts to the care services, to that industry and whatever, that has also helped put them in that place. Not COVID, by the way, just a bit of post-nasal drip. Okay, so think about that. Think about our testing. Well, apparently, dear old Matt says, not enough demand for it. Not enough demand for it. That's why we're not supplying it. There just isn't the demand. Do you believe that crap? And finally, Cyril, as they used to say at the end of That's Life, with Esther Ranson. Yeah, I used to love Esther Ranson. And finally, Cyril, Matt, the Health Secretary's Care badge. Care. I think of Care Bears. And I think of an old Spitting Image sketch which had the Tories, and there was a little song with them because Care Bears were popular at the time. The Tories were called the Don't Care Bears. And there was a song that went something like, "We are the Don't Care Bears, Don't Care Bears, the Don't Care Bears. We are the Don't Care Bears, we don't care at all." So I think Tories should release a Don't Care badge, or we couldn't give a fuck badge. Yeah, we don't care if you die. Yeah, in fact, it's probably quite nice because population's getting a bit big and the pensions bill's getting a bit large and the bill for social care and social security is getting a bit big, isn't it? So, well, just let them die. You know, it'll reduce the burden on the state. Yeah? So, the care badge, it's an insult. It's an absolute bloody insult. I hope it bounces back on Matt and hits him squarely between the bloody forehead. What an insult. A tiny, tiny little gesture. Yeah? It's like awarding a badge to Harold Shipman for being Family Doctor of the Year. A care badge? I don't doubt that real people care. Of course they do. Absolutely. 100% true. 100% true. Nurses, doctors, frontline staff, ambulance personnel, fire brigade personnel. People keeping the planet going. People keeping ticking things over. Bus drivers. They care. Yeah. But the government don't. If they really cared, they'd have locked down a damn site earlier, and they would not, and I'm sorry to get political here, but I'm going to anyway, they would not have cut the NHS to the bone. If they really cared, yeah, they couldn't give a shit. All they care about, all they will ever care about, is making their rich friends even richer. That's all they'll ever care about. Yep. And with that in mind, people are asking, when will the lockdown end? When do we end lockdown to, avoid a second wave or whatever? When does it end? Apparently we're being told the government's saying only when a vaccine is developed. No. We will end lockdown when the rich and powerful elite that control the world, that control the money supply, that control all of our lives, whether we acknowledge it or not, lockdown will end when they say so. When they tell our government and governments all around the world to do this, then it will end. The decision will not be made by your elected democratic representatives. It will be made by the ruling elite who control everything. It will be made when they feel it's appropriate to release us all back into normal life. Right, well, if you thought of anything that you can add to this video, please share in comments. I know it's gone on for nearly 15 minutes, but surviving here in Great Yarmouth. Good luck to you all. Stay locked down. Thanks again to all of our frontline workers, and a particular shout out for our NHS and everybody from the cleaners to the top bods and consultants who work in it. Thanks a million. Bye.